Hi guys, welcome back to Just an Ordinary Girl. So tonight I'm coming with you with a brand new cooking video, but this one's going to be a little bit different. So it is for my friend Al Chafe over at Al Chafe's My Backstep. He's doing a Camp Challenge Alliance where anybody can make videos on what kind of food they would actually take with them if they were going camping. And I found a great recipe, so I can't wait to share it with you. Okay guys, so all this food you can take with you. So like so I have here a butternut squash, and you can chop this up and take it and put it in a bag or whatever you're going to take to camp with, or you can even go to like your grocery store. A lot of times you'll see these type of things cut up, as well as some bulgur wheat. This is real good, and you can throw it in your backpack. You're going to need some ground sage. You're also going to need an onion. Okay guys, then you're going to need about 2 cloves of garlic. This is here about 4, I think I put, because I like a lot of garlic. But I'm realizing you want to do this recipe. Some of this stuff you're going to want to do in advance, because there's a little preparation, that's going on. So what I'm doing here is I'm toasting a little bit of walnuts and pecans. If you don't have them, you don't have to. You can just use them without it being toasted. Or if you want, you could bring them with you and throw them on the wherever you're cooking your meal. Okay, I'm going to show you the recipe. So it's a bulgur with roasted buttercup squash, sage. I'm using tofu and baked potatoes or rice as a side. And here's the ingredients. 6 cups of buttercup squash, or that's a whole squash. 4 tablespoons of sage, salt, pepper to your liking, 1 onion. I'm using 1 apple, a half a cup of raisins, 2 tablespoons of thyme, a small amount of tofu, like a couple pieces, and 2/4 pecans toasted. Then the dressing is going to be 1/4 cup balsamic vinegar with a 1/4 cup of rice vinegar, 2 cloves of garlic, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, dash of salt and pepper. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to preheat the oven to 450. Now we're going to toss our buttercup squash with a little bit of applesauce and then the sage, and season it with salt and pepper. And you transfer that to a baking sheet and bake it for 15 to 18 minutes. And then in a medium saucepan, you're going to heat the remaining water and onion and garlic, and you're going to cook that about 4 minutes until it's soft. You're going to add the bulgur, the apple, the raisins, the thyme, saute that 2 minutes, and then you're going to bring that to a boil covered for 20 to 25 minutes. Then you're going to make a dressing in the mason jar, combine the vinegars, garlic, maple syrup, and soy sauce, and season that with salt and pepper. Then you're going to toss the bulgur and the tofu, the pecans, dressings, and all that stuff together. And I adapted this from a recipe called Pure Wow. She's not vegan from the recipe, but I am, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so these are toasted, and it doesn't take very long. As you can see, I've had it on at 450, and that's only been in there for a couple of minutes. Okay, guys, so when you're vegan, you have to adapt. So you can use olive oil, but I'm going to use this. This is just applesauce in a little thing, and you just toss it on there. That replaces the oil. I'm finding that 4 tablespoons of sage is going to be too much for me and my liking. So I'm only going to do 1 tablespoon. If you like a lot, this seems like a lot here. So just do 1 tablespoon. Scratch that other one. Okay. And salt and pepper to taste. I'm just going to put some salt on there. And we're going to dump some pepper. Okay. There's some black pepper. I'm going to just sprinkle that on. This seems like a lot of sage, but it smells good. And we're just going to toss this together. Again, you can do all this right at the campsite. Just open up your aluminum foil and put all your ingredients in there and just roast it over your campfire. Or whatever, if you have a little stove, But I think the campfire would make this taste delicious. And it's simple and easy. Like I said before, you can either purchase one of these, take it with you, cut it up there, or you could just cut it up previously at home, buy some from the grocery store, whatever. Okay, now all we're going to do is toss this into the oven for about 18 minutes at 450. Okay, for our next step is here's that one onion I showed you earlier. What we're going to do is we're going to add some water to this. If you use oil, you can, but I don't. So I'm just going to add a little water, and I'm going to add my garlic. You don't need a whole lot of water, but I think I'd say about half a cup of water. And onions, has its own liquid. I'm only going to use half of this garlic in here because the other portion of it is going right into our dressing. It's very simple to make. Okay, now while that's going to saute, that's going to take a little bit because I just turned the stove on. We're going to make the dressing. So I had to improvise. I had ran out of my balsamic, so I mixed in the rice vinegar, and that's why I made it differently. So there's your vinegars in there, and then we're just going to put in some of this garlic. Okay, so here's what I use for my maple syrup. It's pure. I'm just going to add 2 tablespoons of that in there. Okay, so I added one more tablespoon because 2 wasn't quite enough for me. I'm going to add a little bit of this salt and a little bit of pepper in there, and then I'm just going to mix it up. Our onions are sauteing, and this is the fun part. You just shake it and give it a good mix. This here, like I said, you can have this prepared too and just throw it in your backpack or whatever you're taking. So yeah. Okay guys, I just realized I didn't tell you how much bulgur, and I just added it in there. We're going to use 3 cups of bulgur. If you're not sure what bulgur is, it's wheat. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put 3 cups into this pan. Okay guys, so now I added another apple. So this will be 2 apples of, I'm using Macintosh, but you can use Honeycrisp if you have it. Okay, we're just going to add the apples to our wheat. And then now these are done, the onions and the garlic, we're going to add that. Okay, now I'm going to add my half a cup of raisins. Okay, now we're going to just saute this for 2 minutes. And I'm going to turn it up to medium-high heat. But again, you'll be out on your camp stove, so, or your fire. This would be so good over roasted fire. Did I say roasted fire? I meant campfire. But you're just going to saute this for about 2 minutes. Bringing all the flavors together. If you guys want more raisins, you can add more. It's up to you. But I think that'll be plenty. And then once that once we do this for about 2 minutes, then we're just going to add our liquid. Okay, so in my recipe, I'm just using water. But if you have, because I don't have like vegetable broth or anything, but if you have vegetable broth, or if you're not vegan and you want to use, what is that called? Meat broth? I don't know. Bone broth? Whatever kind of broth you have. Just do that. It's 6 cups total. Just add it to there. And we're just going to bring this to a boil, put a lid on it, and we're going to boil it. The time on that's 20 to 25 minutes, or until all your liquid is absorbed. Ooh. Okay, that's what happens when you open up an oven door. If you're on your camp and you've got to open your foil, make sure you open your foil and just sort of, toss your pieces around. They should be pretty close to being done. By the time you get all the rest of this cooked, everything will be done. Okay. Okay, now my pot's starting to come to a nice rolling boil. We're just going to go ahead and put the lid on and turn it down just a little bit. I have it right now on high. I'll just turn it down a little bit because we don't want it to over boil out of there. Sometimes you can leave. See, my pot has a little hole in it, but you still may need to vent. You can do this too at your campfire. Oh, guys, try not to eat too many of your nuts too, because they are delicious. These are the pecans. The recipe called for pecans, but I didn't have a lot, so that's why I chose to use walnuts too. That's good. Okay guys, I forgot the thyme, so this is what I'm using. So the recipe called for fresh thyme and fresh sage, but I didn't have it. That's why I made ours like that. I'm just going to do this. This is how I measure things. I sprinkle it all around. Okay, that's it. I'll keep it covered. Okay guys, I'm not sure. I don't think I put this in, so I wanted to come back with you. This is the dressing I made. And it's a couple dashes of soy sauce. So yeah, just don't forget to reshake it. Okay, I just want to show you that this squash is definitely done and it's delicious. So you just put a fork in it, and if it goes through, then it's ready. Yeah. Delicious. Okay guys, it's smelling good in here. So you just want to keep stirring your bulgur. You don't want it to stick to your pots or whatever you're using. It's got, let's see, we've got about 11 minutes left. And it looks like the water is already absorbing pretty quickly. I don't know if I had it on a little too high maybe, but I just turned it down to low. Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that sit a little bit longer till the time's up. Keep watching it, keep stirring it, keeping my lid on. Okay guys, so I would say cooking this way took about 20 minutes instead of the 25. But depending on how you're cooking it, you know, that'll adjust your times. So now you remember the dressing we made. We're just going to pour it over top. Okay, here we go. Just like that. And then you're just going to stir it through. Just stir all that dressing through. Turn your heat off. Well, you won't have heat to turn off, but you can take it off the fire. And just stir all that vinegar through. Okay, now that that's stirred through, we're going to add our tofu. And we're just going to stir that through a little bit. The best you can. Okay, don't forget to take your potatoes off because they're ready, right? Get them out of the foil. Now we're going to do this. We're going to lay out some of our delicious squash. Just like this. I want a little more on this plate. You can have more or less, depending on, you know, how much you like to eat. And then next, we're going to go ahead and add some of this bulgur. I guess this isn't the best scoop, but you do what you got to do. Lay that right over top. And grab some of this tofu. It's looking yummy. Add that right on top. And now for the topping is your nuts. Now we got to add something for our potatoes. So normally I would say put avocado on her, but then I think your avocados would go bad if you don't have someplace cool to keep it. So we're just going to keep it basic, and we're just going to do onion powder. Ooh, it's kind of a lot. And garlic powder. And I like chives. You can take these with you wherever you go, wherever you're camping at. And there we have a delicious dinner. And guys, here you have it. Delicious bulgur with that's bulgur wheat, okay, with our squash and tofu and some baked potatoes. It's delicious. I tasted it off camera. But thank you all for watching. I hope you like, share, subscribe. Go over there and check out Chafe out. Al, I hope you like this recipe and enjoy it. It's delicious. And if you didn't see, we did put off 5 Christmas concerts on my channel. It's on the live stream portion, and so our Christmas concert series is technically over, but you can go over there and check them out. And we hope you have a wonderful holiday. And there's my timer beeping, so I gotta go. Bye, guys. Happy camping.